guys, and welcome to another episode of the Watchtower Watch Reviews with your host DK. If I said to you, I'll have a vodka martini shaken, not stirred, you would know straight away who I'm referring to. It is of course James Bond. James Bond has been played by many people over the years, from the likes of Sean Connery, rest in peace, all the way up through Daniel Craig recently, and of course he's always had an interesting watch on his wrist. So he's had Seikos, he's had Omegas, he's had Rolex, and in the newest one, No Time to Die, he is rocking an Omega Seamaster. So, with that being said, there's already homages out, even though the movie hasn't been released yet. And I'm taking a look today at one of them, the Pagani PD-1667, an homage of the No Time to Die Omega. It's a really nice watch, and it comes in a couple of different colours in case you don't want to lean into the homage of it. There's the actual No Time to Die, which is that sort of faux patina look to it, the vintage style dive. There's also a blue and white, I believe, and a black and orange. I have the Bond colourway, and we're going to take a look at that right now. Let's get to it. As per usual, guys, if you haven't already liked and subscribed, this is the perfect time to do so. 300 odd of you already have, and to celebrate that milestone, we're going to be doing a giveaway at the end of the video, so stick around for that to see how you enter. Now, let's get this one unboxed and opened up. I got this one from the Trendy Men's Watch Store. I actually did not pay full price for this one, full disclosure. I got a hefty discount because of a Homage that I had to return to that person, so I think I only paid about €70 total for it, including the price of the Homage. Pagani design, this is described as their premium attempt. I'll be the judge of that. They've got the same style box, except for it's now just a simple lift top as opposed to a magnetic flip top. And inside is the watch, the Pagani PD-1667. So as I say, I actually asked him to send me either this one or the black and orange variant, and he sent me the No Time to Die homage, which is very nice. We'll take it out there. Inside, it's not very premium. You still get the same Pagani design blue polishing cloth. They're actually not bad quality, in fairness, even for the price of the cheaper Paganis. The extra links that I had taken out, there's 4 links there. Inside the box then, you just get the usual. You get a little instruction manual, which I don't think anybody has ever read. I might have opened one of these over the 7 or 8 watches I bought from Pagani, and the same unsigned Pagani design guarantee card. Let's get the dimensions out of the way on this one. I like to think I'm fairly all-encompassing with my reviews, but if I do miss anything, especially with dimensions or specifications, and you guy want to know about it, drop me a comment down below and I'll do my best to answer any of the questions you might have. So on with the dimensions, we're looking at a diameter of 42mm, 46mm if you include that crown at 3 o'clock. 48.8mm lug tip to lug tip. However, that bracelet does protrude out with those male end links, so you're looking at about 54.8mm by my count. You got a 20mm lug width, which makes it very easy to swap this bracelet out if you're not a fan. You tapers all the way down then to 17.7, back up to 18 at the clasp, so very little extra bulk added there. 14.2mm thick, a lot of that is included in the actual piece of glass covering the dial. Weight is 190 grams at all links. 4 links removed from my 7-inch wrist brings it down to 171 grams. 2 links left, which means I think this one suits wrist sizes from 8 inches all the way down to 6.5 to 6 3/4 inches. So you can probably get this one to suit most people. Well, if this is Pagani Design's first attempt at a Pagani Plus or Pagani Premium, we better take a look at the specs. So you're getting all 316L stainless steel, brushed case there on the sides with a high polish finish on the top of those lugs. You also get a brushed bracelet. Unfortunately, they swapped out the screw pins for push pins. Brushed as well on the clasp. It is a 3-piece effect bracelet, but they are not 3 individual pieces, it's just one solid piece. It is, however, all stainless steel and solid out on the wrist, which is always good. So that clasp is a fully milled clasp. It is also signed with the Pagani design name of the brand there. 2 pushers to open, they're nicely milled. No micro adjusts, unfortunately, copying the Omega style, but you do get a micro adjust? You get diver's extension, I should say. Clips in quite satisfactorily, and the bracelet clips there as well. On top of the dial, you've got a nice piece of sapphire glass, stepped up as well, a little bit of a dome on it, so you get a bit of distortion there at the edges of the dial. Just that littlest bit playing with the light here in my studio. You also get a ceramic 90-click bezel with a Lume pip. It's a nice movement on it, I have to say. It's very nice to use. Good click, good nice motion on it, nothing excessive. to turn it. It's not hard to turn, but it's not overly easy there on the clicks as well. However, I will talk about that a bit later. Lume on the pip, as I said, and Lume all over the dial in terms of the indices and all the hands. Signed screw down crown with the Pagani design logo, and also a screw down exhibition case back, giving this one 100 meters of water resistance. Very good for a dive style watch at this price. I wouldn't go diving with this one, but you know, who goes diving with their watches really? You probably have a dive computer. You wouldn't be afraid to get this one wet, I would say. The crown, I must say, is very nice to use as well, and it's connected to a Seiko NH35, which of course hacks and hand winds. Pull it out once to set the date, pull it out a second time to stop the second hand, which is the hacking function, and to set the time. As I say, crown is really nice to screw in and out. This seems like a big step up from their others. Okay, so let's take a look at the watch under the macro lens. You've got double baton indices at the 12 with the Pagani design printed logo and the words there just underneath. Rounded circular indices at all the even numbers. A framed black date window there. Unfortunately not color matched because it's a white date window with black numbers, but it is framed in black. You can see there skeletonized hands there to sort of homage the Omega. Not exactly the same, but very similar. Japan movement for the Seiko NH35, automatic water resistant 10 bar 100 meters, which is great. Again, very easy to go swimming with this one. Lume pip there up at 12 o'clock on that ceramic bezel with that lovely kind of brown faux patina look. So does Pagani design premium get you better lume? Well, in this case, yeah, it does. They've gone for this sort of old radium style lume, that lovely green. The lume pip disappears pretty quickly, but the hands and indices hang on all the way through the night. This is 2 minutes of light from my UV torch, 15 minutes of footage sped up. I've worn this to bed a couple of times and been able to read it at 4, 5, 6 in the morning with no real issues. It's not quite an all-nighter, but to be honest, for the price that you pay for this one, it's as close as you're going to get. And here it is out on my wrist on an unusually sunny day in November in Ireland. This one really is nice on the wrist. You can see there I'm flexing the wrist to try and get that bracelet to come off a la the Pagani Tag Ottavia Homage that I had before. No worries at all. This one sits quite comfortably there. However, if you want to go for the proper vintage look and the true No Time to Die homage look, you can always do the following. You can stick it on a Milanese. This is my WatchGecko Milanese. Again, 20mm, you'll have no problem picking this up. I'll drop a link to the WatchGecko eBay store where I got these. I got a multi-pack of them. This Milanese is great quality. It sits down very nicely with it as well. It just drops straight down on the wrist. And if you want to homage the No Time to Die, this is the perfect way to do it. Alternatively, you can stick it on the old school Bond NATO. Again, this is another WatchGecko one. This is their Zulu Diver Bond NATO. I don't have the actual No Time to Die NATO because I just didn't have one ordered at the time. Give you a side profile there. This is a thick enough watch. I think I said it was 14.5. So if you add a NATO, it's probably 15.5 to 16. Not sure if you want to do that. Maybe you like a big thick watch, but to me, I think the Milanese is a great shout for this one. However, if you want to go for a desk diver look, you can go for this really nice brown leather. Again, no guesses here. It's WatchGecko. It goes really well with the brown on the bezel as well on the outside, and it goes well with that faux patina radium look. It's so nice on this. I'm actually half tempted to keep on this and have it as a desk diver instead of a real diver. So what issues do I have with this one? Well, 2 words, bezel and bracelet, unfortunately, the 2 Bs. I'm going to start with the bracelet because it's the thing I dislike most about this one, unfortunately. I like what they tried to do, but these end links are just way too long and protrude out past the lugs, which means that a slightly big watch looks even bigger, and it just doesn't sit right on my wrist. Maybe if you have bigger wrists, it might be okay, but on my bang average 7-inch wrist, it just doesn't sit right. You can see there they really are sticking out quite a bit of the ways past the lugs and just ruins the aesthetic of it, unfortunately. Other thing is Pagani have given us brushed bracelet, but they've taken away screw pins for the links, which is a bit of a disappointment. Now, in fairness, the push pins aren't bad. I can't say that they are. I pushed them all out and none of them broke or bent or anything. So you do get brushed, but you no longer get screw pins as you did with all their Rolex homages that they do. This clasp as well is it's okay. It's machined and it's milled and everything, and you know that's great, but it's not the easiest to close. It's nice and easy to open. The pushers work well, but if I put it onto my right wrist here just for an example, I find it's very difficult to get this one to actually close and lock in place. and especially at the start, it started to ease up. I've had it for about 2 weeks now, and it started to ease up, but you can see there I'm trying to push it in, and I'm not being too gentle with it. I'm just giving it a decent push, but you really have to press hard for it to engage. And at the start, I was pressing it into my wrist, and it was actually beginning to hurt because it was pressing on a vein. So that's not ideal. I did find the trick to this one actually is if you press exactly in the center between those two buttons, and it should click in a bit easier, but it's still not the easiest. Finally, onto the bezel, I should say. That Lume pip is not centered. I'm going to pop up a shot of the macro right next to it here, and you can see there that that is not really in the center, and it's sort of poking out the top of the triangle there at the 12, which is not great. Also, there's a lot of play in this bezel. I've heard from a couple of other reviewers that apparently this is being fixed in the next batch that they run off of these, but I've also seen it in enough reviewers' videos as well to know that this is not an isolated issue, and that this bezel is pretty poor in terms of the amount of backplay and wobble that you get. The actual operation of it is really nice, and I like the ceramic and everything on it, and the colors are really nice, and I wasn't actually sure about the colors initially, but yeah, that there's a lot of play, there's a lot of movement when there shouldn't be, and with those end links it just lets it down a bit from the premium line. So there you have it, my review of Pagani Design's first attempt at a more premium line of watches in the Pagani PD-1667. It's a great watch. I think it has a lot going for it, but unfortunately they've just made a couple of missteps with it. So that was the review. Hopefully you enjoyed it, and now on to the competition. So you have now got the opportunity to win one of 3 watches. So first one is this Dom, which is a little homage of the Xeric Helograph. So an homage of a micro brand, I suppose you'd call it, which is a bit of an unusual one. It's an unusual watch, it's a bit of fun, just a quartz movement in it, but it just looks a bit different and it's a bit of novelty and kitsch. And don't we all need a bit of that at this time of the year? Other thing I have is this Pagani design. Again, it is the Pagani design, I don't remember what their code is. It is the Pagani design PD-2770. It's almost like I remembered it. And this one is I believe it's the Manhattan dial. It's a kind of a brownie coffee colored one with rose gold on it. Very nice, just a bit big for my wrist. If you've got bigger than 7-inch wrists, might suit you down to the ground. And finally, of course, my little L'Oreal, the homage of the Rolex Submariner worn by Bond. So you get 2 Bond watches for the price of 1 in this video. Great watch, but again, maybe it's something to do with Bond watches. This one has a little bit of play in the bezel. In order to enter the competition, first of all, go to my Instagram page and follow me at the Watchtower Watch Reviews, link in the description below. And also, you need to check out my posts on Relio and just simply post in the comments below here, what is the color of the watch? Doesn't have to be very specific, just what is the generic color of the watch. Guys, thank you very much for watching as well. I have been your host, DK. This has been the Watchtower Watch Reviews, and I will see you guys next time.